My name is Kobe Morgan. I graduated May of 2023 and I ended up getting a bachelor's in business. If I had to describe my time at KCC in 3 words, it'd probably be fun, growth, and challenge. Fun just because the dorm life experience, all of the friends at KCC, the sports, all the activities, student life, all that was so much fun. Growth and challenge, I think I got to take those hand in hand just because there was a lot of growth that happened on campus and it didn't just come easy. I was in, I think, a sophomore, maybe it was my freshman year when we got COVID, when all that happened and we had to switch to online classes. That was very challenging. Also, at the same time, I started my walk with Jesus here at KCC. And so there was a lot of growth involved with that and learning about sin and the seriousness of sin and discipleship and doing life together. All those things really just grew me as a person, grew me in my relationship with Christ. And so those were the 3 words that I would use to describe my time at KCC for sure. What originally brought me to Kansas Christian College, honestly, was basketball and my good friend AJ. Essentially, AJ talked to me and he said, "Hey man, you're a good player. You should come play at my college." I was talking to him and he just really knew my dream to play college basketball and then eventually pro basketball one day. And he was really harping on me to come to KCC. And what ended up happening was I went a different route. I went to a junior college and I tried to walk on the basketball team there. And it was through some mentors who were Christian. They would say things like, you should focus your life on something bigger than yourself. And I started to maybe think that basketball wasn't the end all be all. And I got this email from whoever was working admissions at the time, and it said, "Hey, we're having a showcase day at KCC." And I thought, okay, 1, how did I get this email? And then 2, oh, that was the school that AJ goes to. So let me go check it out. And so I came and checked it out. And really what ultimately was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yes, it was basketball, but also it was the community. It was this focused vision of teaching the students to be like Christ, what the Bible says, and how we can grow to impact the world for Christ's kingdom. It was really enticing to me, not being a believer up to that point in my life. And so I ultimately decided to transfer schools. A big thing that I learned at KCC that stood out to me that I carry to this day, for sure, I would say would be the process of exegesis and how to study the Bible appropriately. Learned that in Miss Cummel's class. I've learned the value of hard work thanks to the sports that I was in. So I did a little bit of basketball, a lot of track, a lot of cross country, and it was really hard. There were days I'd wake up and I'd be like, man, I don't want to run miles today. I really don't. And then I have all this homework I got to do. But being in it and just sticking to it, knowing that, hey, this season of life that I'm in is not going to last forever. Let me take the most advantage of it while I can. That really taught me how to work hard and really stick to my guns. And then also just leaning on the people that were around me. I mean, COVID was a really hard season. We had quarantines in the dorms, and that just was a season of leading and looking to some of the spiritual leaders on campus like Guy, some of the coaches, and just sitting down and just really being honest about how things were difficult at the time. And I didn't really come from a place where you would look to other people for guidance or when you needed help. And so just having that ability to do so really taught me that it's okay to admit that, you can't do life alone. So some of the things that I carry with me just from my experience of being at KCC. One of the biggest lessons that I learned at KCC was how to publicly speak, thanks to now Dr. Kelso's speech class. At the time, Mr. Kelso, I had public speaking with him. He taught me how to give a speech and how to be well prepared for it and how to do it without those verbal pauses, the ums and the uhs and the likes. What ended up happening one day, I was working for Ryan Lawn and Tree, local landscaping company, and I was working in the irrigation department. Ryan Lawn and Tree, as a company, they're employee owned, so every employee has a stake in the outcome of how the business does, because they actually will give you stock, a discretionary allotment of stock at the end of every year based on how well you do as a business. So everyone really has this impetus to do well. And with that too, everyone has access to the financials. Every week we'd have meetings on our revenue and our profits and our expected cost of goods sold and all the things pertaining to the income statement. And it was in the winter, I believe, I don't remember the year, maybe 2023. Essentially, we were doing a lot of training for the staff because we couldn't do landscaping. And we were asked to give presentations on certain topics. And some people talked about how to install irrigation parts. Some people talked about different landscaping applications or hardscaping things you can do for the environment. Well, from my business background that I got here At KCC, I decided to choose to give a presentation on financials. And so I gave a financial awareness speech for my coworkers. And so it was all my coworkers and our managers. And essentially I got up there and I started walking through the income statement. I started walking through profitability margins, the things we can do as a company, even as individuals, to help boost those numbers. And I gave the whole presentation. It was probably a 30-minute presentation. And after I got done with the presentation, I got just a round of applause, and then I had people coming up to me and they're shaking my hand. And the number one piece of feedback that I got, which I know Mr. Kelso was so proud to hear, was, my goodness, you're so young. You've never given a presentation to this company before, and I never heard you say or pause. It just was so well polished. And so I immediately went to, I think it was Facebook Messenger, and I texted Kelso and I said, hey, you'll never believe what just happened. And so it just was a great opportunity, and I credit it all to that public speaking class.